Hello and welcome to the Drexel interview. I'm your host, Paula Marantz Cohen, speaking to you from the Drexel University Picture Gallery. Today our guest is the legendary filmmaker John Waters, whose films include Pink Flamingos, Polyester, Hairspray, Serial Mom, A Dirty Shame, among other very funny and transgressive films. This is the second part of a two-part interview. In the first part, we discussed our guest's film career. In this one, we'll talk about his new book, Role Models, which is recently out from Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. John Waters, welcome back to the Drexel interview.
Thank you.
Well, I really enjoyed this book.
Thank you so much.
It was very clever, very witty, not about your films, about you, and it was actually, it was kind of relaxing to read. I don't know if that was something.
That's good. That's
I thought
yeah.
Very relaxing.
Because it's about me, but it's about told through other people, my role models, about their lives and how it affected mine. Yes.
And I guess those people, many of whom I know, I have also have had an impact on my life. So, you know, it brings back memories. It was a wonderful trip down memory lane.
Like Uncle Ed?
Yes.
He was a Philadelphia one that many people would prefer to have forgotten.
To forget. Right. But anyway, you start out, Johnny Mathis.
Yeah.
You refer to him, an early role model. You say he was the polar opposite of you. Could you elaborate? Well, I mean, yeah, but explain a little more.
Well, that he doesn't have to do shows. He doesn't have to go on book tours. He's famous completely without ever having to support it. Have you ever seen Johnny Mathis on a red carpet? Have you ever seen him at a party? He doesn't go. He does not participate in that at all. Yet, I went to see his shows. They're sold out in huge halls. They don't even introduce him. He just moseys on stage and starts singing. You thought, oh, it's him. He's already up there. So to me, he's the opposite in that way, that he never tries too hard.
So that's cool. That's the epitome
yes,
of cool.
It's effortless. Yeah. And B, he is, from going to his house and looking around, and a Republican. And
you're not.
I'm not. So at the same time, though, I try to imagine what he would think walking through my house, looking around. I saw a Nixon book there dedicated to him, and I knew that Nancy Reagan comes over and they sing Christmas carols together. But Patricia Hearst comes to my house, and you walk around my house, and I have weird stuff everywhere in it. So I try to understand. I'm interested in people that are the opposites of myself.
So he's the bizarro John Waters.
I think he is just the opposite of me in many ways, and I'm always intrigued by opposites. My own mother said, Johnny Mathis is black? I said, what? You know, and so you think of it, he told me he had no racial prejudice ever. Here he was, a very handsome black man, singing love songs that white women made out to with their boyfriends ever, and I'm sure tried to jump on him at every chance they could get. He's beyond race, he's beyond fame, and he's still incredibly talented. So I'm amazed by his success. And I had never met him. And one of the chapters is about getting to meet him, which wasn't easy because all they have to do is Google me and you get nervous if you don't know about me. So the lawyer was there, but the lawyer was lovely, and he left after a while, you know, because he realized that I wasn't trying to do Johnny Mathis in any way. I was trying to pay respect to him and how, don't always think, I can't stand some liberals that only, and I'm a complete liberal. I say in the book, I voted for Obama because he was friends with Bill Ayers. But
That's right, you do say that.
But at the same time, liberals never imagine that someone else might not agree with them. So I find that annoying when people are discussing and think, well, you know, someone here might not agree with us. They don't, and it's the same now. They hate Obama as much as we hated Bush. It's exactly the same. It's just 50-50 the other way. So it's kind of exciting. It's like, you know, and when they rioted, the Republicans, about health care, I thought they were that mad because if somebody can get an operation for free, it made them riot. But I gave them credit for rioting. That's what we should have done when Bush was president. So I like to riot. I mean, I had fun rioting. When I was young, it was like going to a rave. You went to a different city, you rioted, you got a date, you got high, you had fun. So I miss rioting. I'm nostalgic about rioting.
So you could at least identify with the fact that they were rioting.
Even if they were that angry about politics. I thought, well, good for them at least, even though to me it was amazing. What got them that angry? The poor people were going to get operations. I thought that made you that angry of all the things?
Yeah. Let's put aside politics
All
and get to Tennessee Williams,
Yes.
another major
All humor is political, though, don't you think?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was going to ask you that, actually. We'll
Yeah.
skip ahead, whether you think of yourself as a political filmmaker.
Well, politics to me, I think I'm asking you to look at everything with a different viewpoint than what you came to meeting me was. Is that political? Yes. And I don't think you can ever get anybody to change their minds unless you can make them laugh. They'll at least listen if they laugh with you. Not at, but with. And I think that's very important.
I think also people tend to confuse political with ideological, which means a certain set of ideas that you want to sort of force people to have, which is certainly not what you seem to me to be about.
I don't know. In Cult Leader, the chapter in my book when I talk about
You
the
want to be a
cult,
cult
I want to
leader,
start
yeah.
basically.
Well,
ideology is, I do have it, but I never think I'm forcing anybody. Just because I like something doesn't mean I expect you to do it. I don't really expect that. But I'm just pleading for certain people, and I understand that sometimes it won't be that easy. And I'm not thinking everybody in this book should love Johnny Mathis or should love Dagmar or Madeline Murray O'Hare, or people that I bring up that were hated by the rest of the country, but to me inspired me for weird ways.
I like that use of the term pleading for someone. That's a nice way of putting it.
I am pleading for
Yeah.
somebody. I always said if I wasn't a writer, a filmmaker, whatever I am, I would be a criminal lawyer. I'd be good at it, a defense lawyer.
Well,
Or a defrocked priest.
or defrock. First, you'd have to be frocked to be defrocked.
Yeah, but not for the reasons they get defrocked. You're thinking.
Oh.
I would be just because I would suddenly have trouble with theology and take it to another level of insanity, and then usually, But they're not saying infallible anymore. It's a
Right.
word that they're not using in the Catholic
About
Church.
the
I
Pope.
grew up about it. What happened to that? I guess it
When
went
did
the
that
same way.
disappear? Recently?
It went with St. Christopher medals and limbo.
Okay.
Discontinued.
Tennessee Williams and Tennessee Williams' bad writing, you said you like as much as his good, which we've discussed already in the first part.
Yeah, but
I find
failure.
that intriguing. You like failure, you like difficulty, you like that struggle.
Tennessee Williams wrote some of the most acclaimed, like 10 of them, are great masterpieces. You can't expect them all to be good, but the ones that maybe are not as good, to me, are just as interesting because they're not as known. And I think that there's great ideas in it. There's great moments in it that maybe seem a little heavy-handed now also, as 50 years later, times are different.
Yeah.
Tennessee Williams did stuff no one dared to do then, to have the nerve to do then. I remember he was on one of the shows and they asked him about his sexuality, which no one ever dared us. And he said, well, let's put it this way. I cover the waterfront, which people went crazy. But he was the
At that
first one to come
time,
out,
yeah.
really, ever. Really.
Yeah. Well, I also want to read a quote that perhaps relates to, I call it I will say contrariness, but I know I don't think you like that word.
No, it's all right. My mother says that.
But you say you like second-rate things in general, or perhaps because of what you said about Tennessee, you see how they're made. But you also say you like Alvin and the Chipmunks better than the Beatles, Jane Mansfield more than Marilyn Monroe, and the Three Stooges you think are funnier than Charlie Chaplin.
I do.
Is there a little bit of affectation
No,
operating?
I actually think the Three Stooges I love because all women hate the Three Stooges.
That is true.
Which, not all, but
many
women
including
hate 'em.
myself. Well, as a child, I
like
liked
to
them.
look at them. I think this is like S&M, and what they look like. The Shoe Bomber
Boing.
looked exactly like Mo Howard, and that's what I thought. How could you be a terrorist dressed as Mo Howard with fuses sticking out of your shoes? Oh, excuse me. Well, who wouldn't notice that when they sat down? You think, what the hell is this? And then you look down and there's like dynamite in the shoes and you look like Mo Howard. You expect him to turn around and go like that, right? And so, and he might have. Maybe that's what he was planning on doing. I don't know. But the Three Stooges to me they're so low and so horrible that there is a fascination to me to watch them, and they talk so fast, and like all that kind of all that kind of stuff is greatly rehearsed. It's a dance number if you look at the show that way. In a way, it is brilliantly blocked and rehearsed and everything. And so I'm for them. I am for them.
And children do invariably love them. I mean,
Oh,
I've
yeah,
never
all
known a
children.
child not to love the Three Stooges and
Children
start
love-
laughing hysterically.
Children love Divine too. They weren't.
Yeah.
They didn't know about the bad stuff that they were taught to believe. Children, I get along with children great. I'd be a terrible father because I would be too self-involved to be a good father. But kids like me. They run to me. I taught a first grade class recently. A friend of mine was in prison, and he asked me to go for his son. And it was great. We did improv. We did an airplane crash. They all wrote movies that they wanted to do. We talked about that. It was fun. I had a great time.
I have to ponder this one for a little
Yeah,
bit.
I went back twice.
Yeah.
I've been in the first grade class twice. And I teach in prison, too. So it's not that different.
First grade in prison, yeah. Having had children, I will agree with that. Another role model, I love the chapter in this book on Rei Kawakubo. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you could ask a Japanese person. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, too. But she is the designer of Comme des Garçons, a label of
Comme des
clothing.
Garçons, right.
That I like very much. And she's sort of, her look is something's wrong with everything. It's deconstructed, and it's so you pay more money to have clothes that other people wouldn't buy in a thrift shop, which I love. It's like wearing fashion in reverse.
But it's very expensive.
It's expensive, but no one knows it. So it's not ostentatious. Because I go to biker bars in Baltimore and they say, that's a shame about that coat. You get insulted by it.
Spend $5,000 on it.
Not five, but still.
That's going too far.
Right? No, well, some of them are worth $5. I mean, so the clothes are extreme, and I believe after 40 you need some help. I think if you're 20, you should find your clothes in the gutter because that's fashion designers copy you. I think I tell kids that they should tattoo on baldness. Or like draw on bags, make fun of our fear
Now,
of
is that
aging.
Comme des Garçons?
This is not. This is Izzy Miyake.
Oh, Izzy Miyake.
But I like the Japanese ones.
Okay.
This is not. But I do have one, Comme des Garçons, my favorite one. It looks like a dirty bath mat. The whole coat looks and I have another one that has big oil stains on it and everything. And people say, oh, can't you do something better than that shirt? So it's dressing in fashion secretly. You know, Andy Warhol supposedly wore under his turtleneck $200,000 women's diamond necklaces, but no one could see him, but he knew, and he liked it. So it's wearing fashion in secret.
Well, let me read from your book a passage I like. Okay, here, about fashion advice for your readers. Get on the fashion nerves of your peers, not your parents. That's an interesting line. That is the key to fashion leadership. Ill-fitting is always stylish, but be more creative. Wear your clothes inside out, backward, upside down. Throw bleach in a load of colored laundry. Follow the exact opposite of the dry cleaning instructions inside the clothes that cost the most. And then don't wear jewelry. Stick Band-Aids on your wrists, or make a necklace of them, or put Scotch tape for a
faux facelift.
Facelift.
Yeah, that's creative.
Okay, creative. Dressing cult is a tricky thing, you write. One false move, and you can easily look ridiculous. Now, every once in a while, ridiculous can look amazing, but that is rare. Yeah, so there's a fine line.
There is. I modeled for Rei Kawakubo in Paris once, and I said, oh, please don't let me wear the most ridiculous ones. Let the younger ones wear that, right?
Yeah.
And she sort of went along with it, but
she changed the hat.
She changed the hat.
She gave you a little less.
But then I thought, well, what the hell, you know, go out, just do it. And I thought, I'm a model. I felt like Don Knotts meets Mahogany, really. But it was fun, and I'm still a big fan of the store. Go in it in New York. I mean, it's on 22nd Street. You don't know. It looks like the Tilt-A-Whirl, the store.
Yeah.
And you go in, you think, is that a hat? Is that pants? What are they?
What is it?
And the people that work there are dressed in the outfit. They don't call them salespeople. They call them co-combatants or something. You know, there's like, it's an army of fashion lunatics. And they called me once. I got a phone call. I was in Provincetown where I spent the summer, and it was sort of 10 o'clock at night. And they called, and they said, hi, it's Tomoko. And she's the woman that works at Comme des Garçons. She said, we got him in. And I thought, what's she calling about at 10 o'clock? She said, we got the stuff through customs. I'm at the airport. I said, and you're calling me? This is a fashion emergency?
You must be a favorite customer.
Well, I don't know, but I thought that was great that I was getting it that early. Like, it was hilarious to me.
I want to talk about your mustache, which you also talk about in this book. And actually, tomorrow I plan to go to CVS and get the Maybelline Expert Eyes in Velvet Black for my eyes, because I noticed that is what you use. Let me take a look at that. So it's not the self-sharpening kind.
Oh, God, no. You have to sharpen it every time.
Yeah, that's a little too much work.
But you see, my mustache is there. You can see it's hair.
See.
It's
yes.
not. But you touch it up.
There is hair, but you touch it up. Okay.
Otherwise, it's called a pencil mustache, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't know when people seem shocked. Yes, I tried it for a while, and then this one girl said to me once when I was 18, look, just try this little thing. Oh, my God, what a difference it makes. So it's, you know, I shave every day here.
Yeah.
Cuticle scissors about every other day to trim it.
Yeah.
And then when it's gray or you miss a little bit, you just help a little with it.
I'm looking at you and I'm thinking,